find out about Toy Story Land at Hollywood Studios. This is episode 42 of the Go Inform podcast. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. This is episode 42, and I am your hostess, Maven. I'm so happy to be back here with you after a little bit of a hiatus. It's great to be back talking about some of my favorite things, which are the theme parks in Orlando. And today we are going to talk about Toy Story Land at Disney's Hollywood Studios at Disney World. And this is actually kind of an update or an addendum to episode 15, which was my audio tour of Hollywood Studios that I recorded just about a year ago now. And some things have changed over there. Things are still going to change more. I look forward to a year from now talking to you about Star Wars Land. But now Toy Story Land has been open for about 6 months, and I finally got a chance to see it. So I wanted to do a quick recording for you to let you know what you can expect at Toy Story Land and some of the cool stuff that you'll find there, and also some touring strategies for how to see Toy Story Land without waiting in extremely long lines. So I think everybody is familiar with the theme for Toy Story Land, which is, of course, the Toy Story movies. The theming in this land is really wonderful. It's playful, it's fun, it's bright. There's a lot happening in this land, and I really, really recommend that you do make time to go and see it when you're at Disney World. The Toy Story Land part of Hollywood Studios is located kind of behind the Chinese Theater. So when you are walking into the park, the way to get to it is basically head towards the Chinese Theater and then take a little bit of a right and then a left. And you're just going to kind of go behind the theater and walk down that street, which I think might still be called Pixar Place. I believe that's what the street was called last year when I did the audio tour for you. But anyway, just follow the crowds because a lot of people are going to be heading to see Toy Story Land. As you're walking there behind the theater, when you see the Walt Disney Presents building, right past that is where you're going to hang a right, and then you will be on the main drag to go straight into Toy Story Land. Toy Story Land has a ton of stuff going on in it, and you could spend a lot of time just walking around in the land exploring things. There are 3 main attractions or rides at Toy Story Land, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about those in just a minute. But just to give you an idea about the general theming here, the idea of this land is that you are in Andy's backyard and you are one of Andy's toys. So you have shrunk to the size of a toy and everything else is really big. So for example, one of the cool things that they've done here in Toy Story Land is to give the effect that you are in the grass, in the lawn. They have planted bamboo all throughout the land to simulate grass. So it makes it seem like you are like in the grass, like in the lawn. Scattered all around the landscaping are things like dominoes and dice and blocks, which are all kind of the size of you. So it gives you an idea of the scale that you have shrunk to. Everything in Toy Story Land is made of stuff that Andy would have had in his room. So that means that things like the Slinky Dog roller coaster is made of Tinker Toys and connects and is propped up with, there's gum. There's big hunks of gum and erasers and pencils and stuff holding it up. It's so fun the way that the Imagineers have come up with the idea of creating this whole world made out of just stuff that would have been in Andy's room. So definitely take the time to really look around at what you are standing next to, because it might look like just a wall that's colorful or whatever. And then when you look closer, you will see that it is a Scrabble board. It's just really, really huge. Especially when you're in the queue for the Slinky Dog coaster, look around because a lot of that building is actually supposed to be the box that the coaster came in. And the walls are like the directions for how to put it together. It's super cool. It's really amazing. So let's talk a little bit about that Slinky Dog coaster. That's basically the big main attraction here that's new in Toy Story Land. It is a really fun ride. One of the coolest things about the Slinky Dog coaster is that it looks a lot like a high-speed, high-intensity roller coaster, but it moves a lot slower, and the ups and downs are much more mild. There's no upside down or anything like that. And it's designed to be something that pretty much anybody can ride. And I think especially for smaller kids who can't yet ride the big coasters, this one's going to give them a nice thrill. And it does have some cool features that you will find on the bigger coasters. I don't want to give it all away, but there's a point where it kind of launches you, which is not the same way that the Rock and Roller Coaster launches you in terms of intensity, but it's kind of a similar delivery, maybe is the way to say it. So it's really a cool experience, I think, for kids who can't ride those big coasters yet. And the view from the roller coaster is really good too. You can actually see into the new Star Wars land that they're building, which is really neat because I have to think that once all that construction is done, they will have trees or something blocking the view of that. So right now you can kind of see that construction going on while you're on the Slinky Dog coaster. Another thing that's really fun about the Slinky Dog coaster, first of all, the coaster is the part that you ride in, it's the Slinky Dog. So his head and his feet are at either end of the coaster train, and he actually talks. So I didn't notice that while we were riding it, but after we got off and we were watching it, when it went by, he was like saying woohoo, and it was really cute. So make sure that you watch the coaster too, besides just riding on it. The other thing is that on the coaster structure is Jessie and also the dinosaur from Toy Story, and they talk too. So when the roller coaster goes by, they will like cheer it on or comment about it, and it's really fun. So that's a neat touch that they've added that I've never seen before, where there's like that interactive kind of self-awareness that the Slinky Dog coaster has. Because again, the idea here is that these toys are playing, that they are doing something really fun on their own without Andy, that he built this place, but he isn't there right now. And they are, they're going around, they're having fun. They're having fun in this universe. The coaster also has a lot of places where you can watch it go by, which is great if you have non-riders in your group who want to take pictures or just watch the roller coaster. They've built a platform kind of up near the loading area where you can watch it really well. You can get a really good view. I saw lots of people there taking pictures, and all around the Toy Story Land area, you can kind of see it because it really covers a lot of ground in the land. Another ride that's new to Hollywood Studios here in Toy Story Land is called Alien Swirling Saucers. This one is not quite as unique as the coaster. There is a very similar ride to this one in California. If you're familiar with Cars Land, there is a ride at a Mater ride, and this is basically the same type of ride. So it's kind of like Teacups and Saucers, but with a bit of a twist, and it can be a really fun ride. But if I was going to pick Fast Pass for either the roller coaster or the swirling saucers, I personally would pick the roller coaster or Toy Story Mania over the Alien Swirling Saucers. So that's just me. Spinny rides are fine, but not like my total favorite either. But if you like spinny rides, that one might be for you. So just be aware that that one is there as well. And also really great theming with the structure and all of the decor all around it. The Toy Story Mania ride is still at Hollywood Studios, and that has always been a super popular ride. It's really fun. It's fun for everybody in your family, and it is still there, and the ride itself hasn't changed at all, but the entrance to it has changed. So back in episode 15, I talked about how you would get to the Toy Story ride. Well, now the entrance is kind of on the back side of that same building. So now the way that you get to Toy Story Mania is when you walk into Toy Story Land, just a little ways into the land, you'll see the entrance for Toy Story Mania on your left. And they have, I think they've kind of enhanced the queue area a little bit. It always has been really fun. It's always had the theme that you're in Andy's room. So it's the same kind of thing where you're the size of a toy. And they've added a few more cool features and stuff in there. Just kind of the theming of it. They've made it even better. And I always thought it was really good. So Toy Story Mania and Slinky Dog Dash, I think, are awesome rides that if you can get there and do those two rides at Hollywood Studios, you really should try to make the effort because they are both really fun. Some of the other fun stuff that's in Toy Story Land, in terms of kind of the hardscapes there, one thing is when you're walking around, look on the ground, look for Andy's footprints, because you can actually see these giant footprints on the path, and those are Andy's footprints. Another thing that's really cool is there's one food option in Toy Story Land, a quick serve option, and it is called Andy's Lunchbox, and it really is Andy's lunchbox. So it looks like a giant lunchbox turned on its side so that the lid is opened up and it's the roof. So it's really cute, very fun. The food at Andy's Lunchbox is the kind of food that Andy would make for his toys. So it's like Pop-Tarts. Oh my gosh, you guys, homemade Pop-Tarts that are amazing. Tater tots, grilled cheese sandwiches. So that kind of stuff is what they serve at Andy's Lunchbox. And the tables and chairs even are really cute because like some of the chairs are, if you know those Baby Bell cheeses, it's like the wrappers that they come in the little round wax wrappers. They have taken those and turn them into a chair, and with giant toothpicks holding it up. So stuff like that really adds to it. So that is kind of a cool place to stop and get a snack and just take it all in and watch the roller coaster and look for all the cool stuff that's surrounding you there. The characters at Toy Story Land are also a really big draw. So you can meet Woody, Jessie, and Buzz, and probably some of the others too. But we saw Woody, Jessie, and Buzz out for the whole time that we were there. The lines get kind of long, but as it is with any character, but it looked like the everybody was really having fun meeting those characters. And the other thing that's really fun in Toy Story Land is the Green Army Men. So the Green Army Men, they have always been in Hollywood studios as long as there's been sort of a Pixar presence there. And they are still here, and even, I think, more of them in Toy Story Land. So we saw them do a couple different things. First of all, they march around in formation, and they will stop and do a show here and there. And so we saw them do a show with little kids where they brought kids out of the audience and they did some kind of soldier Green Army training with them. And we also saw a drum corps of Green Army soldiers, which was super entertaining, really, really fun. And they just kind of randomly walk around and march around. So look for the Green Army soldiers. And if you see them coming out and lining up to do something, definitely stop and watch their show, because they're really funny. You can get great pictures. They're really fun. And by the way, you guys, I did get a lot of pictures when we were there, so I'll be posting those up on Instagram and also in the show notes for today's episode. And as always, the show notes are going to be on the website. Today's show notes are at goinform.net/42. So let's talk for a second about some touring advice for how to see Toy Story Land. The first thing I would say is that you can expect it to be popular, especially at least until Star Wars Land opens at Hollywood Studios, and then everyone will probably be over there and it won't be a problem. But right now, Toy Story Land's very popular, so it makes sense to try to come up with a plan for how to see it without it just being packed. Definitely try to get a fast pass for one of the rides in Toy Story Land. You know, get those fast pass reservations started as soon as you possibly can. I did an episode, if you scroll back in the archives, about fast passes, and, you know, those who want to use those strategies to get your fast passes in advance so that you can ride Slinky Dog Coaster or Toy Story Mania or whatever you want to do there in Toy Story Land. Another tactic, and this is what we did, is to get into the park as early in the day as you can. So we went right when the park opened, and it was still crowded, but we walked on and did Slinky Dog Dash with no fast pass. We got on it and off it within like 20 minutes. So if you are one of the first people in the park, then you should be able to get in line and get through the line for that popular attraction before a whole bunch more people get in the line and make it really long. We just weren't able to get a fast pass for Slinky Dog Dash, so we had made one for Toy Story Mania for about 10 o'clock or so. The park opened at 9. We arrived at about 8:30, and they actually had us they were moving the ropes into Toy Story Land by 20 minutes to 9. So this is one of those times where I really advise you to get to the park early. We actually should have got there even earlier. I would say, you know, try to arrive for rope drop at Hollywood Studios, maybe like 45 minutes before the park officially is going to open, because, you know, they were letting us in the turnstiles at 8:30, and they were letting people into Toy Story Land at 8:40. So you don't want to arrive at 8:45 and everybody is already in the line. So get up a little bit earlier and make sure that you get there with plenty of time so that you can be one of the first people in that crowd headed towards Toy Story Land at rope drop. Another thing you could try, I have not tried it at this park, but an early breakfast reservation would probably put you really ahead of the line to ride. In fact, when we first got into Toy Story Land, and we were some of the first through past the rope, there was already people riding the Slinky Dog Dash. And I'm pretty sure that they were people who had a breakfast reservation and were able to line up early. There is an episode in the archives, if you scroll back, about how to use a breakfast reservation to get in the park early. And I think that could be a really good tactic here for getting into Toy Story Land even before the rope drop people. So do take a look at that option. That might be a really good trick. If you are planning to go for rope drop and be one of the first people in the park, I do want to tell you that this particular experience with the rope drop, it was a little bit dicey. The route to Toy Story Land from the front of the park, you have to there's a few twists and turns, and there's some obstacles in the way. And so there's some bottlenecks, and people who had strollers, people who are having mobility issues, little kids. Man, it was a little scary for those people. So if you have somebody in your group, especially if you have somebody in your group who's got some kind of mobility issue. If you're bringing grandma and grandpa, for example, and you want to do rope drop and do the Slinky Dog coaster, or really just get into Toy Story Land as part of that big crowd at rope drop, I advise you to not send grandma and grandpa through that crowd. I was worried somebody was going to get hurt, honestly. It was just a big crush of people. The thing is that if you have a reason that you can't stand in line for very long and you need some extra assistance getting onto the ride, Disney has a policy to let those people access the attractions without going through the whole rope drop thing and the waiting in those long lines and all of that. I will put a link in the show notes to some information about this, because if you're traveling with somebody who, needs a cane or a scooter, or even just has a hard time standing in line for very long, then Disney will make accommodations for you to skip the line. And, it's not cheating. If you really need that, then you should take advantage of it. So I will find some details about that and put them in the show notes so you can find out more about it. And again, the show notes are going to be at goinformed.net/42. So yes, I give Toy Story Land 2 thumbs up. I think it's really cute. It's really fun. And it's fun. It'll be fun for everybody in your group. And I really recommend that you make some time to see it. I think if you allowed an hour and a half, maybe, if you're going to stop and see the characters, definitely less than 2 hours, you could see all of Toy Story Land and have a Pop-Tart and really get to check it out. So you don't have to spend all day there, but it's a really great way to start your day at Hollywood Studios. And that's what I recommend that you do. So thanks, you guys, for listening today. Thanks for your patience in waiting for this episode. I am very, very happy to have a new episode out for you and hope that the next one won't take quite so long to get done. In the meantime, you can always follow me on social. I am active on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest, and you can reach out to me and let me know what questions you have. Big thanks to you guys who have been writing reviews for the show, especially to my latest iTunes review from Mama.Made It. Thank you, Mama Made It. I appreciate your comment. So thank you for writing the reviews, guys, and for being active with me on social media. On all those social platforms, you can find me at GoInformNet, or just search for Go Informed or Go Inform Podcast. And I hope to talk to you guys soon, and I hope you have a playful vacation.